Planet Vero Studio is powered by the Nolan Group of eXp Realty. MyNextHomeFinder.com.
Treasure Coast Connector. Connecting residents and businesses of the Treasure Coast. And here's your host, Ellen Contreras.
Well, welcome to Treasure Coast Connector. I'm your host, Ellen Contreras. My company by the same name is one of the show's sponsors, and we really help business owners. We put a spotlight on your business. We create awareness of your products and services' existence in the marketplace through lead generation programs, social media marketing, video production, websites, PR. All the details are on my website, www.tcconnector.com, or call me at 772-925-4557. Treasure Coast Connector, the show, puts a spotlight on local business owners. Everyone has an interesting story of why they do what they do, and when we learn about them and do business locally, it strengthens our local economy. Have you ever wondered why you can't seem to break a bad habit or stop self-sabotaging behaviors? Or do you have aspirations to achieve something and you can't seem to get started? Joining me in the studio today is Lisa Michaels, and she is a certified hypnotherapist. She has been personally trained by the world-renowned Marissa Peer, and she's here to talk about her practice and how she helps her clients. So welcome to the show, Lisa.
Thank you so much, Ellen. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, and I was telling you don't have to lean forward, but I'm so excited about this particular episode. I'm like kind of wiggling in my chair. I'm leaning forward. And before we talk about the work that you do, you've had multiple iterations of interesting careers and being a business owner. So share a little bit about your background and what made you want to become a certified hypnotherapist.
So I've been self-employed most of my life, and I have had everything from an insurance office to a retail, business, electrical contracting business, all these different businesses, but was never satisfied with what I was doing. I didn't really feel that it was not fulfilling me. So then at 49 years old, I became a registered nurse, and I loved that. I really felt that was a calling for me. But the problem is the system, and I just don't agree. I love people. I want to help people. And so I stepped away from nursing. I am still a registered nurse, but I did step away from nursing, and a couple of years have gone by. And again, I've had my own struggles throughout my whole life. I've been this very accomplished individual, okay? But there was always a void. And that void showed up for me as wanting to change jobs every couple of years.
Okay.
Relationships were changing every couple of years. There was always this sense of, or lack thereof, of satisfaction and fulfillment. So I've always been on this journey trying to find what I needed to fill that void with. And so I came across Marissa Peer through Mind Valley, and I took one of her quests that involved the hypnotherapy, and I filled that void.
Wow.
And that void was filled with, I was going through life without my self-worth intact, okay? And and that was that void. So in having that breakthrough for myself, I knew that this was something that I had to do and to help other people so that they could experience this breakthrough as well. It's really, it's life-changing. So that's how I ended up becoming a therapist.
Well, that is very cool. So now, obviously, I didn't understand as I got to know you, and as soon as I saw RTT, I said, oh, I told you, Marissa Peer and Mind Valley, and you're like, oh my gosh. So I knew about her, and I was watching her and just really taken with her. And she has helped people worldwide, and we're talking about household name business people and celebrities, musicians, all types
Olympians,
of
NFL players. She's touched so many lives, and now she has over 10,000 therapists. She at the midpoint of this year, she reached over 10,000 therapists that she's trained through her program. So So she's touching a lot of lives.
Yes. And you actually, it wasn't like you went through training where you sat in a classroom and watched her. You were actually, like on video, I should say, you were in person. Yes. Trained by her. So for those that are not aware of Marissa Peer and RTT, what does RTT stand for? If you could just give like a 1 minute overview of.
So RTT is Rapid Transformational Therapy. And Marissa's been a therapist for over 30 years. So through her years of therapy and practice, she came up with a system, really. I call it my box of tools. So she's come up with this system that if you follow that system, you will get to the root, the reason, the cause of these issues. It's incredible. And it's a powerful set of tools. So, she's been teaching since I believe she started her school in 2017.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's not that long ago because she's been like one-on-one with people. And she's also been one to many in terms of people come to see her to go through the process, but you're not one-on-one, you're with a whole group of people, and that's fine.
Correct. Yep.
That's fine. So now when people are feeling, because I alluded to bad habits and feeling stuck, what are give me a list of some of the things that people come to you with RTT therapy. What are some of the things that
addiction,
you help? Okay.
Confidence, self-esteem, anger. There's no limit to RTT.
Okay.
Because what I find time and time again, and what Marissa was finding time and time again through her practice, was it really comes down to, in most cases, the root is your self-worth, and it's a belief that you adopted. If you think about the statements that parents say, things like "you should be ashamed of yourself," or "stop crying," or
"Who do you think you are?"
Who do you think you are? Yeah,
and the "stop crying," or
the "stop crying,"
or "I give you a reason to
give you a reason to cry." Right.
I heard that only once in my life.
Yeah, it's stifling. It's stifling of your emotions because until about age 7, you don't think with logic; you think with emotion.
Yeah.
So. And the more emotion that you're feeling when you adopt a belief, the more powerful it is. And then these beliefs go into your subconscious mind and they run like an app runs on your phone in the background and you don't even realize it. And so you've adopted this belief and you don't even know it. That's why it's so difficult for people. They'll fill that void with addiction. They'll fill it with... Like for me, as I said, it showed up in relationships for the most part, right?
Okay.
But it'll show up in all different ways. So I really don't put limitations on what you can come to a therapist, an RTT therapist for, because Marissa Peer believes, and I do, I'm coming to that same belief that it really comes down to something that was either said or done to you as a child. And sometimes it's traumatic and sometimes it's the simplest of things, but it doesn't matter. It's the belief that child attached to that moment. Okay. And one child may attach a completely different belief, and a non-harmful or, different belief to different things. But each child, it's what they, that belief system that they adopt at that time, So that's where it comes from, usually from the childhood.
And even if people are relatively happy, I mean, nobody is perfect. Like everybody has a thing that they would love to stop doing, or doing less of, or whatever it is.
Smoking,
yeah. So maybe somebody really doesn't want to give up smoking, but maybe they can learn to smoke a lot less. I don't know. Yeah. I'm not a smoker, so or even eating. You don't. Nobody should ever give up dessert forever because that's unhealthy and unsustainable. Yeah. But there's ways to teach you to embrace, and there's times to eat a dessert and there's times not to eat a dessert.
Yeah, it really comes down to a conscious choice. If that's what you want to do, the situation that appears where you actually want to maybe eliminate that is when it's affecting you in a negative way.
Yes.
When anything affects you in a negative way, or it comes from a negative place, that's really when you want to, put the brakes on. And we do work with smoking. We work with weight loss. There's no limitations on RTT. And
fears, phobias. I also
fears
saw
and
on your website. Yeah. And then the other thing is that somebody may want to aspire, they're aspiring to do something. And like, for example, when you became a nurse, you didn't go to school in your 20s. You were older. So that was a different time of your life. And a lot of people do that. They spend X amount of time in a career, but they have that deep down, oh, I've always wanted to do this.
That yearning.
Yeah. And then there are people that have the time for the schooling. They have the money, but something is preventing them. So that's why I say it's not necessarily a bad thing, right, that they're dealing with.
Oh, no, it's great, yeah.
But they have a goal. Yep. But they're like, I just don't know where to
What's holding you back?
Yeah.
Well, it was the same thing for me, Ellen. I went through my whole life succeeding at almost everything that I wanted to accomplish. It showed up in my relationship, which was at home. You know, where I was succeeding was in business. So it didn't show up there. I had that down pat, you know? That was how I validated myself, was through my accomplishments, right?
Most people do, really.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that, I became the overachiever. We had this discussion. When you're a child, you become one of 4 personalities: the caretaker, the sick child, the rebel, or
the overachiever.
The overachiever. And so I became the rebel and the overachiever, right? So when you take on that, it's not going to show up that way. It's going to show up in different ways. But RTT, rapid transformational therapy, anybody that wants to make a change in their life, if you want to make a change in your life and you can't figure out how to do it, RTT is for you.
Yeah. And we're gonna go to a commercial break in a moment, but I want for people, because we're gonna go more into detail of, you know, the hypnotherapy, what it is and isn't, after the break. But for people that want to know, that are listening on iHeartRadio or the podcasts, what is your web address and your phone number?
So my web address is www.lisamichaels.org, and my phone number is 561-808-3966. And the phone number and the email, all that contact information is on the website.
Very good. Okay, so we're going to take a quick break, but Lisa Michaels has a lot more to say. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Wild, untamed, hilarious. Riverside Theater's Comedy Zone. Experience the Treasure Coast's best stage for live stand-up comedy this Friday and Saturday night at 7 and 9 p.m. You'll laugh till it hurts. Start your night at Live in the Loop with live entertainment, food and drinks, and after, be entertained with nationally ranked comedians, including an opening act and headliner with cabaret-style seating and food and drink table service. Get tickets at riversidetheater.com.
Hey, did you hear the latest about our Florida Highwomen?
No, what?
There's a new Highwomen art gallery in Vero Beach.
Really? Where?
1872 Commerce Avenue.
Wow, when's it open?
7 days a week. Call 954-557-6226 for an appointment anytime.
No kidding?
Just call for your appointment, 954-557-6226, and then go to 1872 Commerce Avenue.
Wow, that's good news.
A member of the iTex trading community. Your iTex dollars are welcome.
Sunshine Furniture brightens up your day.
At Sunshine Furniture, our 35,000 square foot showroom is filled with the largest selection of in-stock coastal furniture on the Treasure Coast. Dining and bedroom sets, occasional tables, sofas, sleeper sofas, love seats, and chairs, including lots of slipcover styles from Universal, Four Seasons, and Capri. We also have a gallery of Tommy Bahama and Lexington with styles designed for a relaxed approach to the finer things in life. We're having a fall sale with lots of great markdowns, including all pictures, lamps, and accessories half price. Sunshine Furniture, $1295 US 1 in Vero Beach next to Planet Fitness. Family owned and operated since 1991. Don't forget to visit our outlet and closeout store directly across the street and visit our website at sunshinefurniturecasual.com.
Sunshine Furniture, the best in every way. Have a sunshine day.
Welcome back to Treasure Coast Connector. I'm your host, Ellen Contreras, and I've been speaking with Lisa Michaels, and she is a certified hypnotherapist with RTT, which is Rapid Transformational Therapy. And we spoke a little bit about your background in the first half, but now Because when people hear certified hypnotherapist, the humorist in a lot of us thinks about the Vegas floor show. And they say, I am not clucking like a chicken.
Or barking like a dog.
Yeah. Although I would like to see that happen, but that's a whole other, with some people, that would be kind of funny to make them do that, right?
Right, yep.
So what I'd like for people to know is, this is a multi-part question. So the first thing is that what can someone expect when they're with you for an RTT session?
So the first thing I like to mention is that, most people have driven through a traffic light and they get through the traffic light and they say, whoa, was that green or red? Right. So at that moment, you're in what I call a flow state. So hypnosis is very similar to that flow state. And what it does is it drops that conscious curtain, so that we can actually get to the bottom of things. So when somebody comes to me for an RTT session, I'm not going to make them bark like a dog or cluck like a chicken. All of my intentions are pure and for their good. So, we go through an induction process of the hypnosis, which is really just a relaxed state. And I do hear it time and time again, and there's some nervousness there because they think I'm going to have all this control. But as Marissa Pierce says, if we had that kind of control, all of the hypnotherapists would be multimillionaires because we would be telling everyone to give us all their money. Yeah. So we don't have that kind of control. It's not like that at all. So and with the RTT, we have a very specific set of tools that we take you through when you're under hypnosis. I like to sort of compare it to a meditation, but the difference with the meditation, you still get into that space, that very open receiving space, but you don't have anyone that is guiding you or having a narrative with you that can help you uncover what is going on back there that you just don't even know about. And I always find it interesting because it's never what they thought it was going to be.
That is very true, and we'll get to that in a moment. And so the other thing is, people also are probably wondering, well, how many times would I have to see you? Because sometimes when people think of therapy, most therapists, and I'm talking out of the hypnotherapy range, they will say, I want to get to a point fairly quickly where that person doesn't need me. Yeah. I joke around because I'm a New Yorker that New Yorkers at a, cocktail party will say, oh, my therapist is amazing. I'm going to refer you because I've been going to her for years, like 20 years. Yeah. Now, that's a little ridiculous. Yeah. So with your RTT, how many sessions on average? Like there's a range that not a range, but I mean, you
what's expected. Yeah. So our expectation, unless you have multiple deep rooted issues, our goal is always one session. And I think the most that anyone as an RTT hypnotherapist has done, unless there's an extreme circumstance, is 3 sessions. Yeah. It's so powerful. You don't need, weeks and months of this therapy. It's that powerful.
So that I really wanted to get that across. And then what is it like to work with you? Because you and I worked together. Okay, we'll talk about that in a moment. But you sent me something. So just now walk everybody that's watching and listening through that process. If you're looking at me and I didn't work with you, just tell us, what we go through.
So there's a free consultation to discuss what the expectation is of the session. And we just review, it's about a 20-minute consultation, finding out exactly what you're hoping to accomplish and making sure that we're on the same page. And then the appointment is set. And the actual therapy can go anywhere from a half an hour to an hour. It just depends on the person, but typically not over an hour. Yeah. Other than the conversation that happens before and after. Because when you arrive at your session, or whether it's on Zoom, because I also do Zoom. Yeah. There's that discussion that I want to just clarify things. And then I'm giving you a 21-day recording and I review with you what life looks like without the problem so that I can, create the recording in your own words as much as possible so that really helps drive home the empowering beliefs that they want to take with them moving forward. To get them out of whatever block is going on.
And that's wonderful. And my audio is amazing. And I listened to it today, and I'm going to go through that for the next 21 days. And of course, people can listen to that whenever they feel the need. And I also want people to understand that, you know, there's a wealth of information on the internet and YouTube. And that's how I found Marissa. And I've watched a lot of her being interviewed. I've watched a lot of her hypnotherapy sessions. Yeah. But here's the thing. Why, and I wanted to stress this here on this show, is that while that can be immensely helpful for people, it was not customized to me.
That's correct.
So that's where a lot of people will give out a lot of information on their website or their YouTube channel, and that's great.
Yeah.
But what that does, though, is that it helps someone to a certain point.
Right.
And so for me, it helped me a little bit, but sitting with you, it was exactly what I needed.
Good.
And that's why I think it's important for people to go to that next level and work with that person directly, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. One of the things that a lot of people don't realize is that your mind does not know the difference between a truth or a lie. It does not know the difference. It learns by repetition. So you have to be very mindful, even after an RTC session, even more so, you have to be very mindful of what you let in, because so many people watch TV, they hang around certain people, the same people, you hear the same things coming in. You want to make sure that what you're taking in on a daily basis is what you want to take in, and you're not just letting. You need to really take control of what you let in. It's really interesting. Otherwise, you find yourself, that self-dialogue, that self-talk that goes on, it's driven by what's going on in the subconscious mind. You know,
that is, sometimes I say, is this going to serve me to read this article, to watch that video, to watch this show or whatever? And if it doesn't, I'm like, I move on. Good. So, okay, so we only have a couple of minutes. So what I'd love to hear about, well, first, I just want to say that I feel like so excited after having gone and see you. During my session, there were a couple of instances of things that I hadn't thought about. I'm in my 50s, so like 40 years.
That's right.
Oh my gosh. It was really profound. So,
I love that.
Yeah, and it was very, very helpful.
I love it.
So what about some other people, whether it was somebody that you worked with or another success story from another RTT?
I tell you, I've seen so many success stories. I've been a part of success stories. It's so transformational. I've seen people have an RTT session that had major, major addictions, and they come out of that RTT session and they never touch that addiction again because their session is so profound when they really find out what drives that addiction.
We just got a 2-minute warning from Cindy. I had a session. I
had a session today with somebody that was dealing with a lifetime of anger, and the most profound thing happened after the session because she had that aha moment, and I can watch it happen in my clients. That aha moment is so profound, and for the rest of the day that I was interacting with her, all that anger was gone. I literally said to her, I think you had a facelift, because she was holding all this anger in her face, and all that anger was gone. You could witness it. It's it's so transformational. It is so incredible. I just want to help as many people as I can.
Yeah, absolutely. And you also want to catch people when they're younger, in that age from high school, when they graduate and they have all these options. The world is open before them, and it's sometimes difficult for them. I even mentioned that for myself, but I don't want to run out of time. So tell everyone your website and your phone number again, please.
Again, it is www.lisamichaels.org, and it's 561-808-3966. Reframe your brain.
Yeah, absolutely. Reframe your brain. So, and obviously RTT is meant for everyone.
Everybody. At
all ages, all stages of their life. But I really do think that, and you even mentioned when people are getting married and starting out their life.
Yep, or a new mom.
New parents. So going through that together, not the session with two people together, but individually, so that they can come together and make good decisions in their marriage, with their family, raising children. And you meet with people in person here on the Treasure Coast, but through Zoom, anywhere that someone has an internet connection, we have 2 seconds. So I am going to say thank you so much for being here, Lisa. This is amazing. You're going to help so many people with this show. My name is Ellen Contreras, host of Treasure Coast Connector. Until next week, I miss you already.